When the sun goes down in Monaco, the noise fades, but the real game begins. The streets grow quieter, the lights grow softer, and suddenly every detail feels intentional. Nothing here is rushed, nothing is accidental. This is a side of Monaco most people never witness. No crowds, no spectacle, just refined movement, subtle confidence, and a level of wealth that doesn't need to prove itself. Luxury cars arrive without drama. Doors open calmly. A small group steps out, poised, composed, unmistakably powerful. These are not people chasing attention. These are women who already have it, whether the world is watching or not. In Monaco's elite nightlife, extravagance isn't loud. It's hidden in private rooms, discreet entrances, and conversations that never make headlines. What looks like a simple night out often carries influence far beyond the city limits. Here, presence matters more than popularity, and silence speaks louder than words. Tonight, we're entering that world, where billionaire lifestyles unfold after dark, where elegance replaces excess, and where unimaginable opulence feels almost effortless. If you enjoy discovering how the ultra-wealthy truly live, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more stories from inside the billionaire lifestyle. Because as the night deepens, Monaco begins to reveal what it never shows during the day. The most important moment in Monaco doesn't happen when the city is loud. It happens when everything goes quiet. As night settles in, the sidewalks empty, engines soften, and the city seems to slow its breathing. To most people, it looks like Monaco is going to sleep. But for those who understand this world, that silence signals something else entirely, a shift. During the day, Monaco belongs to tourists, cameras, and carefully staged luxury. Everything is visible, polished, predictable. But once darkness arrives, visibility loses its value. What matters now is access. The entrances change, the routes change, even the energy of the city feels different. Luxury here doesn't announce itself after dark. It withdraws. Cars glide instead of accelerate. Conversations happen behind closed doors. Movements become smaller, calmer, more deliberate. This is the hour when attention fades and influence steps forward. Nightlife in Monaco isn't designed for excitement. It's designed for control. Every location serves a purpose. Every gathering has a reason. What looks like a quiet evening is often the beginning of decisions that ripple far beyond the Riviera. And this is where many people misunderstand the city. They think nightlife is about music, lights, and celebration. But in Monaco, night is about positioning. Who is seen arriving? Who isn't seen leaving? Who speaks briefly and who doesn't need to speak at all? The women who step into this nighttime world understand that rhythm perfectly. Their presence isn't dramatic, but it's unmistakable. They don't chase rooms. Rooms adjust around them. In the calm of Monaco's night, confidence becomes more powerful than noise. This is the first rule of the city after dark. The quieter Monaco becomes, the more serious everything gets. And once you recognize that shift, you start to notice something even more intriguing waiting just beyond the next arrival. In Monaco, you can always tell who truly belongs, not by how loudly they arrive, but by how effortlessly the space reacts to them. As the night deepens, a different presence begins to appear. These women don't rush. They don't scan the room. They move as if everything has already been arranged long before they arrived, because in most cases, it has. They are not here to be noticed, yet they always are. Billionaire nightlife in Monaco is shaped by women whose power doesn't come from attention, but from position. Some are heirs to generational fortunes. Others are investors, partners, or architects of private empires that never make headlines. And a few are connected to influence so deeply woven into the city that their names are never spoken aloud. What makes them different is not appearance, it's certainty. They know where they're going, they know who will be there, and they know exactly how long they intend to stay. There's no hesitation in their movements, no need for validation. When they enter a space, conversations subtly pause, not out of shock, but recognition. This is a world where familiarity equals authority. In Monaco's nightlife, these women don't compete for rooms. Rooms quietly make space for them. Seating adjusts, lighting softens. The atmosphere shifts without a word being exchanged. It's a kind of influence that can't be rehearsed, only earned over time. And perhaps the most fascinating part is how little they reveal. Their wealth isn't explained. Their relationships aren't displayed. Their influence isn't advertised. Everything about them suggests restraint, because in Monaco, restraint is the clearest signal of control. But this calm confidence is only the surface, because once these women have arrived, the next layer of the night begins to unfold. One where setting, timing, and location suddenly matter more than anyone realizes. In Monaco, the most expensive outfits are often the hardest to notice, and that's exactly the point. As the night progresses, you begin to understand a subtle rule that defines elite style here. Nothing is worn to impress, everything is worn to signal. There are no oversized logos, no loud trends, no obvious attempts to stand out. Instead, elegance arrives quietly, wrapped in precision and restraint. Dresses are tailored, not dramatic. Fabrics move softly under the lights. Jewelry is minimal but unmistakable to those who know its value. Every piece feels intentional, chosen not for attention, but for alignment with the room, the moment, and the people present. This is where Monaco's billionaire women separate themselves completely. Their fashion isn't seasonal, it's timeless. It doesn't chase trends, it sets a standard, and it never explains itself. In this world, true luxury is recognized instantly by the right eyes. A perfectly cut silhouette. A watch worn casually, almost hidden. A color choice that looks simple, yet impossible to replicate. These details communicate status without a single word being spoken. What's most striking is the confidence behind it. Nothing looks styled in a mirror for too long. There's an ease to their appearance, as if dressing this way is not an event, but a habit. And in Monaco, habits reveal far more than statements ever could. Fashion here also acts as a filter. It quietly separates observers from insiders. To outsiders, the look seems understated. To those inside the circle, it speaks volumes about background, access, and experience. And once you notice this pattern, you realize something important. This style isn't meant to dominate the room, it's meant to blend into it, while still controlling it. Because in Monaco nightlife, appearance is only the first layer. There's no revving engine, no crowd forming, no phones raised in the air. A supercar glides to the curb, smooth and unhurried. The door opens. A woman steps out calmly, as if this moment isn't worth announcing. Because in her world, it isn't. This isn't about attention, it's about placement. At night, Monaco's streets become a moving gallery of restraint. The cars are extraordinary, but they're treated as normal. Exotic machines worth millions blend into the background, not because they lack impact, but because everyone here understands the rules. Loud displays are unnecessary. Presence is enough. These vehicles aren't chosen to impress strangers. They're chosen to communicate something very specific to the people who recognize it. A certain model, a particular color, even the way it's parked sends signals only insiders can read. What's fascinating is how smoothly everything flows. Security adjusts without being obvious. Doors open at exactly the right moment. No one rushes, no one waits too long. The arrival feels rehearsed, yet completely natural. In Monaco nightlife, supercars don't announce status, they confirm it. And the woman stepping out knows that her entrance has already been noticed by the right eyes. She doesn't look around to check. She doesn't pause for reaction. She simply moves forward, confident that the room ahead is already aware. This is how luxury behaves when it's surrounded by equals. But the car is only the introduction, because once these arrivals are complete, the night shifts from movement to meaning. And what happens next is far more influential than how anyone arrived. In Monaco, the most important nightlife locations are the ones you'll never find online. No signs, no guest lists, no public reputation. From the outside, they look unremarkable. A quiet doorway, a softly lit corridor, a private elevator tucked away from the street. Nothing suggests what waits beyond. And that's exactly why these places matter. Monaco's elite nightlife isn't about famous venues, it's about access. Entry is never purchased, it's extended. A subtle message, a familiar face at the door, a name spoken quietly, that's all it takes. Or all it doesn't, if you don't belong. Inside, the atmosphere is controlled, calm, and deliberate. Music is never overpowering. Conversations aren't interrupted. Every detail exists to protect privacy, not create spectacle. This is where people come when they want to be themselves without being observed. Billionaire women move through these spaces with complete ease. They don't pause at the entrance. They don't explain who they are. The room already knows. Seating shifts naturally. Drinks appear without being ordered. Time seems to slow, as if the outside world has temporarily stopped pressing in. What happens here rarely stays here, but it also never becomes public. Deals begin as casual remarks. Relationships form through shared silence. Influence grows not through announcements, but through consistency. These rooms exist to remove noise from power, and once you understand that these hidden spaces are where the real night lives, you start to realize that the conversations about to unfold will shape far more than this evening alone. In Monaco, the most valuable thing exchanged at night isn't money, it's information. Inside these discreet spaces, conversations unfold at a pace that feels almost casual. Voices stay low, laughter is controlled. Nothing sounds urgent, yet everything being said carries weight. This is where the city's real business quietly breathes. There are no presentations, no formal meetings, no visible negotiations. Instead, influence moves through suggestion. A comment placed at the right moment. A pause that signals interest. A brief exchange that means nothing to outsiders and everything to the people involved. In Monaco nightlife, deals don't begin with numbers. They begin with trust. Billionaire women play a unique role in this environment. They listen more than they speak, and when they do speak, it's precise. Their questions are simple, but intentional. Their reactions are measured. They understand that control doesn't come from dominating the room, it comes from guiding the direction of the conversation without being obvious. Often, the most powerful moments happen when nothing is being discussed directly. A shared glance, a subtle nod, a decision made without needing to be verbalized. This is a world where relationships are strengthened not through excitement, but through consistency and discretion. What's striking is how relaxed everything feels. There's no pressure to impress, no need to rush. Everyone understands that time is a luxury, and tonight, time belongs to them. Conversations drift between topics effortlessly, masking how strategic they truly are. To an outsider, it looks like a refined social gathering. To insiders, it's alignment. Because when the night ends, these conversations don't disappear. They follow people into boardrooms, portfolios, and future decisions. What begins as a quiet exchange under soft lighting often echoes far beyond Monaco's borders. And as these conversations draw to a close, another unspoken rule begins to reveal itself. One that explains why almost nothing from this night is ever seen again. What keeps this world intact isn't money, it's discipline. There are rules here that are never written, never announced, and never forgiven if broken. Everyone who enters understands them instinctively. Not because they were told, but because survival in elite circles depends on reading the room correctly. The first rule is restraint. Phones stay away, cameras remain silent. Nothing from this night is meant to travel beyond these walls. Visibility is the fastest way to lose access, and access is the most valuable currency of all. The second rule is discretion. Names aren't dropped, titles aren't introduced, backgrounds aren't explained. People are recognized by familiarity, not credentials. If someone belongs, no explanation is required. If they don't, no invitation follows. Then there's behavior. No exaggerated reactions, no emotional displays. Even excitement is controlled. The atmosphere remains calm, almost effortless, because calm suggests confidence. Anything too animated feels out of place, and being out of place is noticed immediately. Billionaire women navigate these rules flawlessly. They don't ask questions that don't need answers. They don't linger where they aren't meant to. Their awareness extends beyond the conversation to the energy of the room itself. They know when to engage, when to listen, and most importantly, when to leave. Leaving, here, is just as strategic as arriving. Exit timing matters. Staying too long can dilute presence. Leaving too early can signal disinterest. The perfect moment is felt, not calculated. And when that moment comes, it happens quietly, without goodbyes, without announcements. These rules aren't about control for its own sake. They exist to protect privacy, influence, and continuity. This world functions because everyone respects its boundaries. And once you understand how carefully everything is guarded, you begin to wonder what happens after the doors close, the lights dim, and the city prepares to wake up again, carrying the invisible consequences of what just occurred. As the night slowly releases its grip on the city, Monaco doesn't wake up. It resets. The streets return to their calm rhythm. The lights soften. The signs of the previous night fade without a trace. To anyone passing through in the morning, it appears as though nothing remarkable happened at all. And that illusion is intentional. What took place during those quiet hours doesn't need to be remembered publicly. Its impact has already moved forward. The women who shaped the night are no longer visible. They've already transitioned back into roles that operate far beyond the scene itself. Boardrooms, portfolios, private networks, and decisions that will unfold over months, not minutes. Their influence doesn't end when the music stops. It continues silently long after the doors have closed. This is the final misunderstanding many people have about elite nightlife. They assume the night is the destination. In reality, the night is only a bridge, a moment of alignment before the real work resumes elsewhere. Nothing about the morning hints at what was decided. No evidence remains, no headlines follow, yet the ripple effects are real, shaping partnerships, movements of capital, and future directions that outsiders will never connect back to this place or this time. Monaco thrives on this contrast, visible calm layered over invisible power. By daylight, the city appears effortless and composed. But beneath that surface lies the residue of conversations, decisions, and positioning that continue to define its ecosystem. And once you recognize that pattern, you realize something even more compelling. What you've just seen is only one night. And in Monaco, every night carries a different kind of power. Monaco's nightlife isn't about excess on display. It's about precision, timing, and the quiet confidence that comes from knowing exactly where you stand. When the lights fade and the streets return to their calm, nothing looks different on the surface. Yet beneath that elegance lies a network of influence that continues to move long after the night ends. The women who step through this world don't seek attention, they shape outcomes. Their presence is subtle, their choices deliberate, and their impact far-reaching. This is why Monaco remains unmatched. Not because it is louder than other places, but because it is quieter. Because here, luxury doesn't perform, it operates. And nightlife isn't an escape. It's a transition point where alignment happens and momentum begins. What you've just explored is a glimpse into a world designed to remain unseen. A place where restraint signals power, discretion protects influence, and every detail serves a purpose. If you enjoyed stepping inside this side of Monaco, remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more stories from inside the Billionaires. We uncover the layers most people never notice, the movements, the rules, and the moments that quietly shape the ultra-wealthy world. Because the truth is simple, in Monaco, what you don't see often matters far more than what you do.